Welcome to the Market Mystics podcast, where we discuss what's happening in the cryptosphere and trading on earth as it is in heaven. Buckle up and huddle on while we dive in and get weird. Here are your hosts, Joshua and Kim.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another fun Thursday with your mystics.
I like how you had so much excitement in your voice that it sounded really fun too.
Thank you. Yeah, I
welcome.
meant it with all sincerity, whether or not it was portrayed or not.
It comes through if you're really listening.
Right. So you got to listen close. Go back and listen again.
Yes, you can rewind until you hear it.
Right. Perfect. Oh, well, let's just start by going over a little bit of what's going on. The past week has been pretty good for crypto. I mean, things have been pretty consistently building, I would say even like stable growth. Like it's not drastic and volatile. It's just kind of a steady stair step up and up. And that, I mean, it's been great. You've got just in the 24 hours, you have Bitcoin up 4.2%, Ethereum up 4.5%. This one I thought was really cool. ADA is up 10% in 24 hours, but 40% over 7 days. I mean, they're
40% in 7 days.
Yeah, they are climbing.
Although they're still not anywhere near where they were.
Right, they're not to all-time highs, but they have seen pretty drastic growth in the past couple weeks.
When you say ADA, you mean Cardano?
I do mean Cardano.
It kind of sounded like almost 88, but without the T.
Without the T. Got it.
Yes.
Cardano. Alpha, Delta, Alpha.
There you go.
Perfect.
We'll get that phonetic alphabet out there.
Wanted to find the top mover within the top 100 coins, and it was AXS, which is up.
Axie Infinity.
Which is up like 20%, 19.7% in 24 hours. It's the governance token for the Axie Infinity game. And I don't know a whole lot about that one, but it is the top mover for 24 hours in the top 100 coins.
Mm-hmm. I'm happy to see that. I'll tell you, this is what I bought for my nephew last month for his birthday. Was Axie, because he's very into gaming. And so I had been doing a bunch of research on different coins that had to do with gaming. And that was the one I landed on. Wow. For him. So I don't hold any, but I tend to keep an eye on it because I'm like, oh, I hope this is doing well for him.
That's nice. I'm sure he appreciates that as well.
Or he just goes, meh.
That's possible. But, maybe if it really takes off, he will be able to buy a new gaming PC or something.
Oh, that would be cool.
So what are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about Web3. And let me just preface this by saying Web3 is being thrown around in all of the news. It's not just on crypto sites. It's all over. And it's somewhat vague as to what Web3 actually is. So I'm going to just preface this by saying we're not experts on this. We are learning as we go. But there's been kind of a bit of movement, a lot of stuff in the news about it lately, at least in the crypto news. So we wanted to touch on it. Web3, as far as I know, let me just say this. This is my understanding of Web3. Currently, we are in Web 2, which is the internet as we know it, with the email addresses and the social media and the websites and all that. Web 3 is supposed to kind of change how the internet is. And this is where the metaverses come into play and integrate with normal life, where virtual reality really kind of takes a step forward and becomes, again, more part of normal life. But really, that's kind of the scope of what I've seen about Web3 and what I really understand. But just more and more stuff is coming out about it. So we're going to talk about some of that today.
Yeah. When I was looking for some of the definitions and things around Web3, like you said, it's really just the next evolution of what's coming. The biggest difference I would say from the research I've done is it tends to be decentralized.
Yes.
So if you were to build a website on Web2, which we've done, you should check it out. It's upperroomcd.com.
Yeah.
Check out the merch store. There is if you go through that process, you're going through a centralized place where you build the website, they host the website, it's on their servers, and they have full control of whether or not your website is turned on or turned off. It's purely based on their servers. Uh,
When you say it's on their servers, are you talking it's on blockchain?
I mean Web 2, like the way we currently have
Oh,
it
it's on Web
now.
2 servers.
The way ours currently is now
Oh, okay.
is on a
Well,
Web
okay.
2
Okay.
server,
We'll move on.
yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Way to listen, Kim.
Um, no, you're fine. But that just means that one company, whoever hosts your site currently, they have the control of whether or not your website is accessible or not.
Right.
And if they deem you uh, not worthy of having a website for any reason that they have the ability to turn it off. That's just part of the agreement you have when they host it.
Hmm.
The big difference with Web3 is because it's decentralized, much like the blockchain that is stored on thousands of computers in multiple countries, and it has to verify that when transactions happen. The same thing happens with Web3. For the most part, Web3 sites are built on top of a blockchain, and they are decentralized, and they're not hosted. I mean, you may also host it on your own server, but
Mhm.
the goal is to have other nodes, other computers, and other places hosting your site as well. And that really takes away that one point of failure, or more importantly, that one point of control. That's the big difference between Web 2 and Web 3 in my mind. And some of the differences, this made a lot of sense to me. When you're talking about Web 2 and you type in like google.com or upperroomcd.com, you are you're typing in a simplified version of an IP address of an address that takes you somewhere.
Mm.
So you're just using simple form to take you to a location on a server. With Web3, the if you have a Web3 domain, you are doing the same thing, but instead of an IP address, you are giving simple form to a wallet address. And that's what it's looking for on the blockchain is this address of what is this site supposed to take me to? So instead of typing out your 42 character long wallet address, you're typing in upperroomcd.crypto or whatever it could possibly be. Currently doesn't exist yet, but we're working on it. Uh, and that's really the big difference is, um, when we're talking about this, it is just the next evolution of the way the internet, the way connectivity is going to work, but it is also currently very decentralized in how that works.
Hmm. Interesting. Hmm.
One of our favorite people to discuss, Jack Dorsey, has been critical of Web3 in the past. And really, what his concern has been is it's supposed to be a decentralized way of doing the web. But if all these venture capitalists come in and put a bunch of money into server farms that are hosting the decentralized network, then all of a sudden it doesn't become decentralized anymore. It seeps back into being a centralized, very similar to what we operate on now, which really goes against the core of cryptocurrency as we use and the desired route for crypto to go.
Hmm.
But there's also pretty impressive development in it. There's a lot of movement in it. One website I was looking at was suggesting that you look at salaries for employees to see which direction companies are moving. And Web3 developers they have found salaries as high as $750,000 for Web3 developers, which is just kind of mind blowing to me.
That's wild. I read something a few months ago about how um, Arkansas was trying to recruit coders, develop like web developers, and all of the language around it sounded like Web3,
Yeah.
right? And they didn't say it was Walmart, which is located there, but it was all in that area. But they were giving people $40,000 just to move to that area to be
Wow.
considered for working in this sector, which is
Right.
kind of wild. That's without getting a job. But it's like you have to go and either rent or buy a house
Hmm.
or an apartment, someplace to live. And that was like the requirement. And you have to have had experience in this.
Yeah, I mean, there's just people seeking coders and developers and tech employees all over the place. One of the things that's really interesting is CNBC had a report that there was a lot of traditional tech people that
Mhm.
were leaving to start working in Web3, probably before the potential that will be there. I mean, if you're an early adopter and an early employee in a tech startup, I mean, we've all seen what Silicon Valley's done with some of their tech startups where, I mean, you start on something that may not pay hardly anything, but all of a sudden it takes off and you're a multimillionaire or billionaire.
Right. You're Steve
But
Jobs
you
and you start in your garage.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. But I mean, you even have people like it's reported the former CEO of Disney left to go work for a metaverse firm. I mean,
Wow.
that's I mean, they're getting big names. They're getting people who have run successful companies, who have grown successful companies. I mean, this area is not something I think that you should sleep on. Like I think it's going to be a thing.
It's true. I find it kind of interesting to hear how secretive these companies are kind of being about trying to
Mm,
develop this stuff. Every now and then you hear about, oh, Amazon had a job listing out there for a crypto developer, blockchain developer, something like this, but it just kind of goes and gets swept under the rug. But all of these huge corporations who have any kind of teeth in the game on
mm.
the internet, which it's everyone, um, they're all recruiting for this and they're all getting stuff together in the background. I heard about this with Walmart. I've heard about it with Amazon. We all know the stuff that Facebook or Meta or just Zuckerberg is doing.
Mhm.
Even in some of the news that we've found, it is all about Spotify and Instagram and Meta, which are all owned by the same parent company, um, developing things to get into the Web3 game.
Yep. Making their platforms more accessible to the blockchain.
Mhm.
You've got Airbnb looking into being able to book rooms with crypto. Spotify using it for musicians to do NFT sales.
Which is brilliant, by the way. Like, I know, okay,
It's
not a fan of the whole Facebook thing, but I think this is brilliant, especially given couple episodes we were talking about NF Tunes, how much the music industry is going that way. And I think if
right.
Spotify wants to continue to have a place in getting music out there, this is the right step.
Yeah, I totally agree. I have to wonder how I'm sure companies like Google are already on top of this and will adopt appropriately. But I'm curious how search engines will work when it's more of a decentralized server that you are searching across.
Mm.
I'm sure they will develop technology to do that. But currently, with there being, massive server farms and centralized storage, I would imagine it's simpler to query those networks to find the information you're looking for. But, I think when Web 2 first came out, no one knew how it was going to work and what it was going to look like. And now it's just, every day for us to know how to do it and know what to do. And
For real.
I think the same
Here we
same
are
thing,
carrying Web 2 around in our pocket.
right? The same
with
thing
our
will
phones.
happen. Same thing will happen with Web 3. Like
Absolutely.
it may be clunky in the beginning. It may be uh, a learning curve, but within a short period of time, everybody will adopt to the changes and it'll work fine.
Absolutely. We were talking about this earlier today. I don't think that it's going to be okay, Web 2 is turned off and now Web 3 is on. And then you
Right.
just kind of have to get your bearings on it. I'm sure there will be overlap for quite a while, but
Hmm.
it makes me think of this is probably a poor example of MySpace and how it was like it was the thing and Facebook really kind of took center stage, but that didn't make MySpace go away completely. For
Right.
a while, a lot of people operated on both at the same time until
Hmm.
one was kind of phased out and the other took precedence.
Right.
And that's kind of how I foresee Web3 rolling out will be. And I think you can see a lot of it with the explosion of NFTs
Mm.
and how it is becoming this huge industry. It is taking the world by storm. People are really getting into it. And I think this is exactly one of those uses that we'll be familiar with for Web3 when it does really kind of come to the forefront.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm.
Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed our little conversation. Maybe go out and do your own research, contact us with the things you found, the things you're interested in, the questions you have about it. As Kim said in the beginning, we're just starting this journey of learning more about the whole blockchain space, not just crypto, but everything that is coming down the line with blockchain technology. And, we'd love to interact with you about it. So,
Like, yeah, you have other thoughts, you have insight. Let us hear about it.
perfect. All right, guys. Well, that's all we have for today. Thanks for joining us.
See you next time. Thank you for listening. Join us every Monday and Thursday as we discuss trading on earth as it is in heaven. If you want to connect further, follow us on social media at market.mystics for Instagram and TikTok, and search for Market Mystics on YouTube and Facebook. If you still need more, follow the link on Facebook to book a coaching appointment. Until next time, see ya.